So we picked up some pork ribs from Costco. That's nothing unusual until I got a good look at the package. I don't know if they had a new butcher or what, but these ribs came flanken cut. Now normally flanken cut ribs are beef and they're much thinner than this, but it was a damn good price, so I picked them up and we got a plan for it. Today we're gonna make some cherry bourbon glazed pork flanken cut ribs. Stay tuned. Greetings and welcome back to the Galley of the Sun. We're about an hour before it's time to fire up that grill. Let's get those ribs prepped. Because these are the same thickness as you would get if you took a rack of ribs and cut them into party ribs, I'm gonna cook them like party ribs. So first, let's get them seasoned. I'm gonna hit them with a coating of Spiceology's SPG, salt, pepper, garlic. Then we'll hit them with a layer of Spiceology's cherry chipotle ale rub. This stuff's incredible. We'll let that sit for a few minutes, then I'm gonna get them flipped, do the same thing the other side. I'm gonna set these aside and let them come up to room temperature as we get the grill ready. So we'll see you in a little bit when it's time to fire up the grill. We got the coals lit, let them go for 15 minutes. Then we got the lid on and let that grill heat up for 10 minutes. Now it's time to get the ribs on. But first, you gotta spray. You don't want your food sticking and you want your cleanup to be easier. Grill is lubed, let's get on the ribs. Now that we have the ribs on, we're gonna add a chunk of cherry wood to the coals to give us that great smoke flavor. Now the lid goes back on with the vents full open. Now with those vents being full open, they're gonna cause a hot spot right under those vents. So we're gonna let those ribs go for 45 minutes. Every 15 minutes, I am gonna rotate that lid about a third of the way around to get us even cooking. So we'll be right back to start making that glaze. See you then. Now that those ribs are happily nestled in the grill, we'll get the glaze together. I have my Starfrit rock pot out here, which has been a total game changer for my outdoor cooking. There's a link down below for it. Oh, and by the way, there is also a link down below, take you to galleyofthesun.com, where you'll find the full recipe. So into our rock pot goes our tart cherry juice, our cherry preserves, the juice from 2 oranges, and these were grown here at the Oasis, the global headquarters of the Galley of the Sun. Brown sugar, our bourbon, and I am using my favorite, Bubba's Burnt Sugar Whiskey. Amazing stuff. A little bit of Dijon, minced garlic, and a little balsamic glaze. We're going to apply some heat to that and bring this to a simmer and let it go for about 15 minutes until it starts to thicken up. And then we're gonna let it cool down. So we'll see you when it's time to get these ribs glazed. See you then. The ribs have been grilling away for 45 minutes. Now it's time to get them out and get them dredged in that glaze. Could I brush it on? Sure, but this in my head seems like a better way. It's probably more messy. Just go with it. So, getting the cotton liners on with the nitrile gloves over those. After we get them dredged, we're gonna get them back on the grill to let that glaze tack up for about 5 minutes. Then we're gonna pull them off and we'll bring in our impeccable judge to let us know how we did. Let's do it. Ribs are looking gorgeous. Into the glaze. And back onto the grill. Lid back on, we'll give them 5 minutes. When we see you next, it'll be time for judgment. See you then. All right, the ribs are done. Now we're gonna bring in a judge from the Cherry Institute of Chillicothe, Missouri, Evelyn. All right, so first of all, how are things in Missouri? You guys doing okay with the Chiefs moving to Kansas?
Yeah, you know, I was never really a Chiefs fan, you know.
Okay, we're not gonna talk about that anymore then. Anyway, we have a cherry bourbon glazed flanken cut pork rib.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, the flanken cut really has nothing to do with it because I don't know why the heck they did that. Yeah, because it's grilled, it's going to be a little less tender than if you smoked it for hours and hours, but how's the taste?
I actually really like it. It's juicy, and it has a very sweet flavor to it that's kind of smoky as well because it was grilled, I'm pretty sure. But
yeah, we did have
really
some
good.
cherry wood in there too, so it did get that smoke flavor. Awesome. So you recommend?
Yeah, I 100% do recommend. It's very sweet. It's on the sweet side, but it has a nice smoky taste to it. The meat is very juicy, and in all, I think it's really good.
Fantastic. There you go. You cannot go wrong with taking the advice from the Cherry Institute of Chillicothe, Missouri. So, hey, thank you so much for joining us today. And until we see you next time, fair winds and following seas.